Each and every one of us can think of at least one decision that we've made in our lives that caused us to say, well, I don't know what I was thinking. It seemed to me like a good idea at the time. I just had to make a decision. But I have never seen anybody with a track record quite like President Obama's. It is amazing to me because his mistakes aren't the exception, they are the rule. But as I started to line this out last night for you, there's something more to his mistakes. His mistakes almost always do harm. What is the Hippocratic Oath? The Hippocratic Oath for doctors is first, do no harm. What it means is a doctor can try to help you, but he can't harm you. He can't make things worse. In trying to treat you, he can't do that. First, do no harm. The president's Hippocratic Oath has been violated to the point where the patient is now in critical condition, and we've got the doctor putting a screwdriver in the patient's eye. I don't even understand it. Last night, I touched on this, and I want to go over this again with you, because I think any reasonable person, any of your neighbors that are not blinded by party loyalty, but somebody who says, look, I want to give Obama a fair shake, and, I don't like the Republicans, I don't like the Democrats, whatever, but I want to be fair. I think they can look at this list and, at least in retrospect, see how wrong the president's choices have been made. But more than just wrong, these are dangerous choices, and they cannot be allowed to be continued. This is the case I want you to make with your friends. I want you to ask them how he is on foreign policy. How's he doing? They'll say, I don't know, things are a little upset. Okay, good. Let's just look at some of the things that he's done. Because I believe that he has been on the wrong side of virtually every single issue. Now, this is not political. First, do no harm. When he rushes in to help, to offer aid, he harms. And it's not just that he's wrong, he harms. When he says it's time to wait for the facts, I've got to get some more data in here, he's wrong because it harms the nation. I need you to make this case with your friends. You and I have seen enough to make an educated decision, and you need to show your friends who are gettable yet. Because I really truly believe any sane person that just engages in common sense, in quiet, thoughtful tones. Don't bash Obama or the Democrats or anybody else. There's no reason to anymore. Just show them the facts and ask them some questions. Ask them, I'm going to show you these things, and I want you to, what does your gut tell you? And the decision that was made, does it divide? Does it degrade? Does it destroy? Or does it lift up? Does it inspire? Does it create? Which on the surface does it do? Which philosophy did it end up helping? Did it help freedom and American principles? Or did it help something else that is against America? I mean, you start with the basic question, is he right or wrong? Was he right or wrong on this? Start here. One of the first things that President Obama did that I just scratched my head, it was one of the first press conference. He was asked a question, he said, I don't have a lot of facts. I have a friend in Boston, and he was arrested, and the cops acted stupidly, remember?
I should say at the outset that Skip Gates is a friend, so I may be a little biased here. I don't know, not having been there and not seeing all the facts, what role race played in that, but I think it's fair to say, number one, any of us would be pretty angry. Number two, that the Cambridge police acted stupidly.
As it turns out, the guy who he's saying acted stupidly was one of the leading officers on race relations. He's one of the best that they have. Now, here's what you ask your friends. Is this more evidence, with what you knew then, was this more evidence of cops targeting minorities? Or do you think that the police were just doing their job? And by assuming that the cops acted stupidly, does he help mend race relations or stoke the flames? Does maligning the police without the facts line up more with Occupy Wall Street or common sense? In the end, was he right? No, he wasn't. That's why there was no lesson, and he had to have the guy over for a beer, because he had to kind of just make this go away. Let's go to the Black Panthers. You remember the voter intimidation case? A clear wrong. But the Obama administration stepped in and dropped the case. When they asked why they let the Black Panthers off the hook, Holder said, because focusing on the Black Panthers, quote, demeans my people.
To compare what people were subjected to there to what happened in Philadelphia, which was inappropriate, certainly that, but to call that, to put it, describe it in those terms, I think does a great disservice to people who put their lives on the line, who risked all for my people.
Who are his people? I've never, ever referred to white people as my people. Have you? What does your gut say about the Black Panther thing? Should these guys go to jail? Was justice served or sacrificed? Did freeing the Black Panthers for no apparent reason, did it help unite Americans or divide them? Did it empower a group like the Black Panthers, or did it empower justice? Was Obama right to let him walk? We could do this all night. Egypt and the Arab Spring. When the Arab Spring broke out, because a person lit themselves on fire and ended up dying from those wounds, and revolutions were started, and deadly clashes broke out with police everywhere, what did your gut say? This is going to be a good thing for America or a bad thing? Were you hesitant? Or did you say, let's go in and help them? Well, here's what Obama said.
For 18 days, the eyes of the world were glued to Tahrir Square, where Egyptians from all walks of life, men and women, young and old, Muslim and Christian, demanded their universal rights. We saw in those protesters the moral force of nonviolence that has lit the world from Delhi to Warsaw, from Selma to South Africa. And we knew that change had come to Egypt and to the Arab world.
I think to compare the Arab Spring to Selma, Alabama, might demean Eric Holder's people just a little bit. It's absurd to compare what happened in the Arab Spring with Martin Luther King. The moral force of nonviolence, first of all, I think Lara Logan would disagree with that assessment strongly. But he also said, this is how the international community is supposed to work. It is, with violence, with chaos, out on the streets, revolution. That's what we're supposed to be encouraging? Was the president right or wrong? In the end, are the people better off? Did his words help heal the Middle East or unite it, or set it on fire? Did it help American ideas and principles, or did it help the Muslim Brotherhood? Which did it do? The Muslim Brotherhood. Almost as soon as Mubarak was running for his life, Obama began lending credibility to the Muslim Brotherhood, going so far as to call them a secular organization. Remember?
The term Muslim Brotherhood is an umbrella term for a variety of movements. In the case of Egypt, a very heterogeneous group, largely secular, which has eschewed violence and has decried al-Qaeda as a perversion of Islam.
How is it possible that the Muslim Brotherhood is non-secular? That's like saying the Catholic League is non-secular. You only need a heartbeat to know that the Muslim Brotherhood is about Islam. The Muslim Brotherhood member and new president of Egypt is trying to get a terrorist, the blind sheik now, the guy responsible for the World Trade Center attacks, the first one, out of prison. The Obama administration defends holding meetings with those people at the White House. Here they are.
Our policy is clear and is the same, which is that in the aftermath of Egypt's revolution, we have broadened our engagement to include new and emerging political parties and actors. Because it's a fact that Egypt's political landscape has changed and the actors have become more diverse, and our engagement reflects that. The point is that we will judge Egypt's political actors by how they act, not by their religious affiliation.
What a red herring. They made a special visa exemption in order to meet with the Brotherhood members, even the ones belonging to U.S.-designated terror groups. Terrorists were given an exemption to go meet at the White House. Yet, at the same time, they would make a special case, an exemption, for terrorists to come into the White House, the Muslim Brotherhood. Obama declined to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu because he was busy with David Letterman. Ask your neighbors, what does your gut say about that? Muslim Brotherhood, they suspended the laws to let the terrorists come in and met, but they wouldn't meet with Benjamin Netanyahu. Is there any hesitation with cozying up to radical groups like the Brotherhood? By the way, it's not just me who believes the Muslim Brotherhood is evil. There's a story out today reporting that the rulers of several major Arab nations are now accusing the Brotherhood of having ambitions, think about this one, to seize power illegitimately, and claim the radical group is the source of all problems in the Islamic world. No.